two-way tunnel alternative with trucks and without trucks.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully we'll hear more about that. The 780 million that was earmarked for the 710 on Prop R. Measure R, sorry. Does that have an expiration date in order for us for whomever's spending that money? How's that money been spent? How much is left in that 780 at this point? Do we have any figures on that?
Roughly, I think we probably spent $34 million.
Yeah, I know they were going through the F asterisk, you know, when they were going around and doing all the digging and trying to find out.
Roughly $34 million. Most of that's on the environmental document
Okay.
and public outreach.
All right, thank you. Thanks for being here, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh.
I've been at this for a long time too. I work with my brother Val Marcus and helping him go from door to door, meeting to meeting. What I don't understand at this point, why is it that we do not have a community advisory board for this? Where is that community advisory board? The state of California requires any type of project this big that taxpayers' money is going to be used for you to have a community advisory board. And it is very difficult. I want to thank some of you that have come up and asked questions, which they're very valid and good for me to understand. But what about the rest of the people that live here? There should be a meeting strictly for this. And I think this has been a failure on the Metro side and anyone that is handling this. And we as a community need to request that. It's a community advisory board. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions for Metro? Nobody? I'm sorry? Oh, yes, please, if she...
Thank you for the questions. I'd like to respond to the last one. We actually do have two advisory committees that have been established for this project. One of them is a technical advisory committee.
Ms. Marquez, he's answering your question. He's answering her question. And
He's
I don't know if she
responding
can
to
hear.
your question.
One of them is a technical advisory committee. And the second is the stakeholder outreach advisory committee, which is made up of representatives and appointees from the various communities within the study area. Many of them are planning commissioners. Some of them now are city council members as well. We are also looking at expanding the stakeholder outreach advisory committee. Recently, Ron Mackay has been appointed to the advisory committee, and he's representing East Los Angeles. We are now looking at expanding that to include other representation in the study area.
I've been with this project for 30 years, so I've seen pretty much everything.
Beat me by 5.
Yeah, I know, I beat you too.
So you should know us by name.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. I'm 71 years old. I started when I was, good Lord, 40, I believe, something like that. Historically, we've always had community participation on this project. I remember we had a mitigation and enhancement advisory committee back in the 1980s. And more recent than that, we had a design advisory group that worked on this. That's when we had the surface alternatives. I just wanted to make that point that we've never objected to citizen participation. As a matter of fact, we've encouraged it. I know everyone in South Pasadena. I know people in El Sereno that I've met over the years, and I have no animosity toward anyone. Our objective is to try and provide transportation and mobility in Los Angeles County any way we can do it. If we can do it with a multimodal solution, we'll do that. And we can do it with with a combination of a freeway and a light rail, or whatever, we'll do that. We've got a problem in Los Angeles County. We've got a huge population increase coming at us. And we've got to find some way to accommodate that. That's my point. There are people who disagree with me, but I just wanted to make that publicly stated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
I got it, already there. I'll be you.
Speedy Gonzalez, huh?
Thank you, gentlemen, and Ms. Padilla as well for Metro for coming and for providing the information. And if you do get us that PowerPoint, are you saving it, Michelle? Then we'll go ahead and put it up on the website. And we're going to move on to item number 6. This is a discussion and possible action regarding some changes to the LA 32 Neighborhood Council bylaws. There's 3 separate motions in regard to this. We're going to take each one separately. I would like to say that all these motions came out of the bylaws committee on 9/22. The amendments, the proposed amendments have been posted for at least 30 days. It's actually been well over at this point. I'm sorry, can we please not speak while we're conducting business? 6A is that the LA 32 Neighborhood Council, this is the motion, that the LA 32 Neighborhood Council reduce the general board from 21 members to 15 members. I'm sure we have some public comments on this. So for 6A,
For 6, 1, 3, 4. Yeah, well, 2 of them just marked 6, so I don't know if we want to skip it.
Mr. Pacheco, 6, you put 6. Is that A, B, or C?
All of it.
All 3? How about, who's the next one? Mr. Manzano.
Same as well, tired.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do a 1-minute public comment on this. I expect that it's gonna be lengthy, and we do have a limited amount of time. And I really need you guys to stick to the agenda-specific item, please. So with 1 minute, hopefully that helps you stick to your topic.
Okay, so the first speaker, Mr. Hugo Chavez, Hugo Pacheco.
He died already.
Mr. Chavez, that's the first time you're out of order. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Pacheco, hold on.
Next, Anthony Manzano and Tom Williams, if you can be on standby, please. Go ahead, Mr. Hugo.
Yeah, I would like to get information concerning the California Government Code, Section 2505. It talks about whether or not you can actually make this decision. And the fact that the people that are on the board right now were chosen last time by what I consider to be an illegal number of people who are formed. The government code says if it's stated in our bylaws that 21 people should be on this board, 11 people should be formed, period. Nothing else. So anyone that got voted in the last time was illegally voted on, as far as I'm concerned. The other thing is, we've been going through this issue from the very beginning. This is nothing but a directive from Dunn based on nothing. There is no records, no nothing that indicates that this needs to be reduced from 21 to 15. On top of that, over all these period of time, both at the committee level and here before the body, we've never said that we wanted to do this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Anthony Manzano.
Good evening, directors. My name is Anthony Manzano, and I'm going to speak to the item, wishing I had an agenda before me. I think it's a little foolish, to keep saying that it's up on the wall, because the stakeholders really need one. You know that because most of you have been stakeholders. Not specifically to the point, though. If you guys even consider taking a position on something like this, just like I mentioned during public comment, you're contradicting yourself, because the board already has a motion standing that states, once you release from exhaustive efforts, you automatically go back to 11 for quorum. But since the department has not released you guys from exhaustive efforts, that motion is still open and standing, waiting for you to be released. Once the department releases you guys from exhaustive efforts, then you guys might be able to consider and take this before the board and vote on it. Because you can't have two contradicting positions, one saying, yes, we're gonna move ourselves back up from the exhaustive efforts, and then this one today saying we're gonna move ourselves down. So basically, you really have to think of what you're doing. Like I said during public comment, you're contradicting yourself, and doing so, or following through with something like this, and maybe just not holding it over until the department says you're off exhaustive efforts, will create another grievance. Thank you.
Next, Tom Williams. And Scott Johnson.
I have a very simple one. Keep it at the existing level, or actually expand it by 3.
There you go.
That's his, oh, let's have a veterans representative, since we have a lot of veterans around here, and they are underrepresented. Seniors, you're in the Senior Citizens Center, and you have no senior representative.
Thank you.
And we used to think about, or there was some consideration for a junior representative. You got senior, juniors, those in between. Don't we have anyone that wants to represent those below the age of 21? Maybe just one. So I would highly recommend increasing it by at least 2, if not 3, or maybe 4. And put the money to outreach. Because outreach will always be the ultimate resolution. If you can't get the outreach, no matter how small you reduce it, it's going to not work. Thank you.
Yes, good evening again, everybody. We need to refresh this board's memory. A citizen petition, community petition, with close to 100 signatures was submitted to this board to be heard, stating that, first of all, the vacancies up to 21 be filled. That petition has never been given the light of day to be discussed among this board. Second, you had a board member, now board member, who currently has a suit against the city of Los Angeles over representation of a community called Rose Hills. And they are deriving asking for financial compensation for their lawsuit. Lastly, this should be a teachable moment here for a lot of our board members, and I want to take the time to thank some of the younger board members here who took the time at the last meeting to listen. We need to be more inclusive, not exclusive. Keep it at 21. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On 6A, well, maybe they all.
That's all the cards we had. Is there any other public comment?
Okay, prior to the board comment, I don't know if all of you know Miss Amber Mishak from Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. She's currently taking over as a neighborhood advocate analyst for us here at LA 32. So thank you for coming. And she is going to address a couple of the comments right now in regards to these bylaw amendments.
So thanks for introducing me. I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm here available to answer questions or be a resource as you're moving through this process. And I wasn't involved with the development of all the specific recommendations, but I do know that one of the last steps of your exhaustive efforts process is to revise your bylaws and to establish standing rules. So I'll be working with you through that process. The board has the authority to do that under the citywide, the plan for citywide system of neighborhood councils. Each board has the authority to amend its bylaws, and as long as it's in keeping with the plan and the other guidelines that you're under, then you're within your authority to do this. And modifying the size of your board is something that's not unusual. Many neighborhood councils have done it for various reasons, and with our advice, and unless it's explicitly disfranchising a particular segment of the community, a lot of times it's just a practical solution to to just the board operations. So that's the general comment, and if you have specific questions, I'm here for the meeting. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
I think not at this point, but she's saying she'll be here or available.
Yeah, not at the moment. We're going to let the board continue with its deliberation at this time. We don't want to, we need to stick with the agenda.
But she'll be available for questions
I
at the
will be
end.
available, and I'll also give out my contact information.
My question is about the actual disenfranchising definition.
You can,
There's, like I said, I don't want to get off the thing. There's no specific definition. It would be everything that they do in terms of every neighborhood council board that amends bylaws has to submit them to our department for review. And generally, board composition changes will also go before the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners, and who will make the final judgment about the changes.
okay, thank you. We're going to go ahead and proceed with our board deliberation.